Barron Trump is facing fresh questions over his reported ties to Andrew Tate, and the latest charges have put that connection under a harsh new spotlight. Tate and his brother Tristan were arrested in the United States after British authorities announced 38 new charges against the brothers. Now, the spotlight has swung back to Barron. Why is the 20-year-old Trump son still being linked to Tate? And with the brothers facing a fresh legal storm, will Barron finally distance himself? The reported connection has suddenly become a far more uncomfortable question for the youngest Trump. The latest legal developments have brought the reported relationship into the spotlight and prompted questions over whether Barron should now distance himself from Tate. But the arrests have also reignited questions about the Tates' alleged connections to people around the Trump administration. Representative Yassamin has demanded that the House Oversight Committee investigate whether presidential advisors and members of the First Family, including Barron, influenced criminal prosecution or investigation of the Tates. Ansari also called for Barron to testify about what he knew about the Tate brothers' alleged crimes, if he had any involvement whatsoever, and whether he communicated with members of his father's administration or the president regarding their legal proceedings. In a letter to Oversight Committee Chair James Comer, Yassamin wrote, "The committee must learn from Barron Trump about his knowledge of the Tate brothers' crimes, if he had any involvement whatsoever, and if he communicated with members of his father's administration or the president himself regarding their legal proceedings." Barron has never spoken publicly about the Tate brothers. However, the New York Times reported that Barron and Andrew Tate spoke on a video call in 2024. That reported conversation has now taken on a new significance following the brothers' arrests, placing a previously private connection under a much brighter public spotlight. So, what should Barron do now? The Irish Star spoke with New York-based PR and communications consultant Sam Gauchier about how Barron should act in the coming weeks and months. And according to Gauchier, Barron does not necessarily need to issue a statement announcing the end of a friendship.
I don't think Barron needs to put out a statement announcing the end of a friendship.
That's just a terrible idea and would just draw more attention to the relationship and also hand Andrew Tate exactly what his public brand thrives on: attention, conflict, and the chance to cast himself as the person powerful people are trying to silence. But Barron should understand that doing nothing is still a choice people will interpret too. If he continues speaking with Andrew, defending him, or appearing connected to his world, his silence will start to look like loyalty. At that point, saying, "I never publicly supported him," won't be as convincing. The communications consultant says the bigger question for Barron isn't necessarily whether he personally believes Tate. She said, "The question Barron should ask himself isn't only, 'Do I believe my friend?' It's also, 'Am I comfortable with what this person publicly represents?' Because those are not the same question." He doesn't need to decide Andrew's guilt, but he can decide whether the treatment of women associated with the Tate's public image reflects his own values. And Gauchier's advice becomes more direct depending on the nature of the reported relationship. She said, "If the relationship was on a casual acquaintance level, then quietly end it and don't give Tate more oxygen. If it was meaningful or involved access to the Trump family, then Barron might need to clarify that he does not support abuse, exploitation, or political interference in the case." Yet again, the strongest response to this may not be a statement at all. It could be his behavior from this point forward. Anyone can distance themselves when a friendship becomes embarrassing. The Tates are now facing legal proceedings to extradite the brothers to the United Kingdom, according to the Crown Prosecution Service. The brothers are dual British-US citizens. For Barron Trump, however, the issue is no longer simply about whether he has spoken to Andrew Tate. It is about what happens next. There's no public statement from Barron confirming the nature or extent of his reported relationship with Tate, and no public confirmation that he intends to distance himself. But with new charges, political scrutiny, and renewed attention on their reported contact, any future interaction could face intense scrutiny.
For now, the legal case against the Tate brothers will move forward in Britain, while questions surrounding Barron's reported connection continue to circulate. And the biggest question may be the one Gauchier raised herself, whether Barron understood what Tate represented before the arrests, and whether that was enough to create distance then. Because now, as the controversy grows, Barron's next move could speak louder than any statement.